Okay, let's talk about something we all love. Making money from our investments. It feels great, right? But, and there's always a but, how much of that cash do you actually get to keep after the tax man comes calling? That's what we're diving into today. We're going to decode the investor's tax playbook so you can hold on to more of your hard-earned returns.
So maybe you're a landlord, or you've written a book, or you're getting dividends from your stock portfolio. That number you see, that gross income, yeah, that's not what ends up in your bank account. The goal here is simple: to arm you with the know-how to legally and smartly maximize what you do keep.
All right, let's get into the first big challenge. For any investor, really, the biggest headache is figuring out what you can claim as an expense and what you can't. It's not as simple as just saying, hey, I spent this money, so I can deduct it. Nope. Getting this next part right is, well, it's everything. Honestly, this is where most people trip up and leave a ton of money on the table.
So here it is, the golden rule. You ready? Expenses for running and maintaining an asset, those are deductible. Think about it like this. You've got a rental property and a pipe bursts. Fixing that leaky pipe? That's maintenance. That's a revenue expense. You can deduct that. But what if you decide to gut the entire kitchen and put in a brand new one? That's a whole different story. That's a capital expense because you're not just maintaining the property, you're significantly improving it. And you can't deduct that huge cost from this year's rental income. Big difference. And listen, it's not just about massive renovations. You've got to watch out for these other common traps. For example, your personal expenses? Nope, can't deduct those. The actual cost of buying the property in the first place? Also a no-go. And what about any costs you had before you even started renting it out? Sorry, can't claim those either. Just keeping these few things in mind will save you a world of trouble.
Okay, so now you know the basic rules of the game. That's your foundation. But now we go on offense. This is the fun part. This is where we get proactive and start applying these rules to your different income streams to see how we can legally shrink that tax bill.
You know, for most of us, our investment income is going to fall into one of these 4 buckets you see here. We're going to tackle them one by one, breaking down what you can claim for each. And we'll start with the big one, the one I know a lot of you are thinking about: rental income. All right, for all you landlords out there, listen up. This is basically your cheat sheet. We're talking property taxes, fire insurance, those necessary repairs, even the interest on your loan for that property. See the pattern here? All of these are the costs of just running the place day to day. These are your classic, allowable revenue expenses. My advice? Keep meticulous records. Seriously, these receipts are your best tools for cutting down your taxable income.
And hey, this whole thing isn't just for property tycoons. If you're a writer, a musician, an artist, anyone earning royalties, the exact same principle applies to you. The costs you incur to protect and manage your intellectual property, things like legal fees to fight plagiarism or your agent's commission, yep, you can deduct those right from your royalty income.
So we've talked about playing offense, actively deducting your expenses. But now it's time to talk about defense. And let me tell you, a good defense can be even more powerful. This is about the income that is completely, 100% shielded from tax right from the get-go. We're talking money that the tax office can't even touch. No deductions necessary.
Okay, for anyone investing in the stock market in Malaysia, this is huge. It's called the single-tiered dividend system. And what it means, in simple terms, is that the company has already paid the tax on its profits before it pays you. So that dividend payment that hits your account, it's all yours, clean, tax-free. It's a fantastic perk.
Here's another one. Super simple, but pretty powerful. You know that interest you earn from your regular savings account at a licensed bank? Well, guess what? It's tax exempt. It's the government's way of encouraging us to save, and it's a nice little bonus. You don't even have to worry about declaring it. And we're back to our creators. This one is a game changer. On top of all the expenses you can already deduct, the first 20,000 ringgit you earn from your literary, artistic, or musical work each year is completely tax exempt. That's a huge deal. It's a direct incentive from the government to support creative talent.
All right, we've covered the offense, we've covered the defense, we know the theory. Now it's time to watch the game film. Let's bring in our case study, a guy named Mr. Lim, and see how all these rules actually play out in a real-world scenario. This is where it all comes together.
So let's meet Mr. Lim. He's a resident individual, and he's got a nice little mix of investments. Probably looks a lot like some of your own portfolios. What we're going to do is follow the money, take his total earnings for the year, and apply our playbook to figure out exactly what his taxable income really is.
Okay, check this out. This is our playbook in action.
First up, his dividends and bank interest, bam, zero tax. Why? Because they're exempt. We just learned that. Next is rental income. He takes his total rent and subtracts all those allowable running costs we talked about. Now, the royalty from his book. This is the cool part. He earned 25,000 ringgit. He first deducts his 3,000 ringgit in expenses. Then from what's left, he applies that amazing 20,000 ringgit exemption. So what's the final score? Out of 25 grand in earnings from his book, only 2,000 ringgit is actually taxable. How incredible is that?
Okay, let's do a quick huddle and go over the final playbook summary. These are the absolute key takeaways you need to lock in before tax season rolls around.
So if you remember anything, remember this. First, you can only deduct expenses for running and maintaining your asset, not for big capital improvements. Second, know and use your exemptions. Single-tier dividends, that bank interest, and that sweet, sweet 20,000 ringgit royalty break, these are your best friends, I'm telling you. And finally, don't forget that as a resident, most of the investment income you earn from outside Malaysia is generally exempt too. That's a big one.
So there you have it. You've got the playbook. You know the offense, you know the defense, and you've seen how it works in a real game. The real question now isn't just about what you've learned today, but what you're going to do with this information. So I'll leave you with this. What's the one single change you're going to make in how you track your investment expenses this year? Just one thing. Think about it. That's all for this explainer. Thanks for tuning in.